Hi folks, we're going to do a little bit of a review of convection currents. Okay? What you're looking at now is a picture of how things looked at the beginning of your convection lab, right? It's a cup of cold water inside a pan with warm water that's not as deep as the cold water, right? So what you did was, let's say you put some green food coloring into this. And many of you saw that drop of green food coloring move. Okay, so it might have looked like this. It might have started out by rising like that little green arrow there. And then it might have seemed to loop a little bit to one side. I've got a little arrow curving to the right. And then many of you said you saw your food coloring sort of spiral down to the bottom, right? And why is that? Well, of course, that's because closer to the bottom, the water in your cup is warmer. So that warm water that you just dyed green rose. It rises just like warm air rises. And as it rises, it gives off some of its heat and it gets cooler. And it gets up to the top there and it's cold. It's just as cold as everything around it. And now it starts to fall. Well, to figure out why the warm water rises and why the cooler water, why the water that's just as cool as everything else falls, let's look at a concept called density. All right, down on the bottom I have two boxes with particles in, right? The ones on the left, there are fewer particles. The particles are packed less tightly. The matter is not packed as tightly. And on the right, the matter is packed more tightly. Density is about how tightly the matter is packed in something. So on the left, packed less tightly matter, that's less dense. On the right, we have matter that's packed more tightly, that's more dense. So there you are. Now you have labels: less dense, more dense. It just so happens that a given substance, if it's warmer, it'll be less dense. If it's cooler, it will be more dense.